Oysters!
Woo! Okay, everybody, it is a special day here at Absolut Drinks. I'm gonna be showing you one of my favorite iconic duos, if not the most iconic duo, a delicious Absolut Martini, balanced, crisp, bright, delicious. We're gonna make one for a whole group of our friends, paired perfectly with fresh, shucked oysters by yours truly. What can't she do? We're gonna learn how to shuck an oyster properly, hopefully. Let's shuck this thing. My name is Elyse, and this is Absolut Drinks with Elyse. Rico is on the way with some oysters, so stay tuned because in just a few minutes when he does arrive, we're gonna show you how to shuck the perfect oyster. Right now, what we're gonna be doing while we wait is batch up this delicious freezer-tini. Are you ready? Balanced, crisp, bright, delicious. All you're gonna need to do this martini is a few things. First and foremost, the most important ingredient, Absolut Vodka. Next, we have a French-style dry vermouth. And last but not least, very important, this is quintessential to this drink's success, some filtered water. I am going to have a vessel here because what I want to do is remove some of my Absolut. I know it sounds like blasphemy. And I'm gonna use some pretty simple indicators or visual markers on our bottle of Absolut to get us to the levels we need with each ingredient. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark out the levels that I want each liquid to hit. So give me 1 second and I will reveal. You are going to pour out enough Absolut until you reach this line here. Next, we're gonna add our dry vermouth till we get to this line here, right in the middle of the beautiful scrolling font of Absolut. Then we pour that filtered water all the way up to our good buddy and founder, Lars Olsen Smith's head. Seems pretty simple, right? If I can do it, you can do it. We're gonna do it today. Let's go. Almost. Boom! On the line. Here we have it. This is our French-style dry vermouth. It's gonna go right in. It's gonna join our Absolut in the glass. And we are gonna pour it all the way up to the middle of that font. On the money. Last, that dilution piece. This is the key to our balance. A little bit of filtered water. We're going all the way up to our good buddy, Lars Olsen Smith. This baby is batched up and ready to go. I'm gonna just turn it a couple times. Now that we've got our martinis built, we are going to stash this in our freezer. And we can use it as soon as it is ice cold, or we can hold on to it until we have a good group of friends coming over to enjoy it with us. So we're gonna sip a little bit later because we have some shucking to do. Always shuck responsibly. And subscribe so you never miss out on another episode of Absolut Drinks. There's a few ways that you can dress your oysters. Lemon juice, hot sauce are great options, but my favorite and most common is a good mignonette. So we're gonna do just that. Max, come on in. You will see that I have here some of that red wine vinegar. We've got some diced shallots. I have some fresh rosemary, salt, pep. What more could we need? I'm going to get some rosemary chopped and ready as well. We just want to give it sort of a rough chop. We're really just looking for a way to beat up the rosemary, get some of the aromatics coming out of it. It's gonna join the shallots and the vinegar and just be delightful for our oysters. All right, in with our rosemary. Okay, so shallots in. We've got our rosemary in. I'm gonna add my salt and pep now. Just eyeball it. I can adjust it later. We wanna season as we go, but you can always kind of edit as it goes on. All that's left is some red wine vinegar. And I'm just gonna eyeball this, and then I'm gonna give it a little stir. And as this sort of sits and waits for Rico and those oysters to show up, it's going to absorb some of that acid from the vinegar. We're gonna have just nice kind of tangy, fresh accoutrement here. I'm gonna get into this. This is all my favorite things. Oh, it'd probably be wise to get some lemon in there too. Yeah? Who wants some zest? I think the combination of these fresh lemon oils from this zest is gonna partner up really nicely with our red wine vinegar. Boom. Mignonette in the bag. We're done. We're just waiting on Rico.
Hey guys, hey Elyse.
My oyster angel has arrived. And you brought my oysters, I appreciate you.
I want to see the chicken.
All right. Can a Rico shuck if a Rico could shuck oysters?
Is it dangerous?
It's very dangerous.
Good.
We're working with sharp today, and I need you to be very responsible. So I have my towel wrapped like this. So what I'm gonna do is protect my thumb. So I've wrapped my finger underneath. And this is going to be where I place and hold my oyster so that it doesn't slip. And we are going to shuck our oyster like this. Max, get in here. Let me tell you about an oyster. This flat piece is actually the top. The bottom is where the oyster sits. This is how we're gonna get into this. So, oyster down.
Please be careful.
Thumb is wrapped. We're gonna come in from this side, okay?
That looks dangerous.
I was waiting for someone to say this is sharp. Yes, sharp. We want to shimmy this little blade in here. When you get to this motion here, what you want to do is find this hinge. This is what's holding our oyster together. When I go in with this tiny shank, I'm going to twist it until I get a pop. But I'm going to think about revving a motorcycle. You do not want to force this. You really want to be as gentle as possible.
What happens if you force it?
You get cut. Find where it feels right.
Are you good?
Oh, I almost did it. I almost f***ing did it.
I'm scared. Teasing. Can I have a feel?
Yeah.
Just a feel.
It's like so sharp, it's cutting the shells out. See, it's like picking it, it's breaking the shell.
Yeah.
You're getting it. Yes!
You got it.
Okay, now be very careful here. So release.
Release.
Put your hand off. Let's open the oyster up.
You take over. You take over. I'm too scared.
All right, so we've got it pried. We want to sort of loosen the oyster from the top of the shell. So we're just gonna pick the oyster up at this point, and we are going to run this super sharp knife all the way down until we think we've released this oyster. So here we go. Let me be honest with you. Your first oyster of the night is kind of like your first pancake. It's a scratch. You're using it to test. You're making sure everything is going well. It's okay if you f this up. The only person here is Rico, and I really don't care what he thinks.
I'm taking the second oyster.
The last thing that you need to do, so you've seen me try my best to pry this thing open. Once we revved it like that motorcycle, we popped that lid, we released the oyster from its cap, right? There's still a piece of the oyster that is attached down beneath, and we're just gonna make sure that we can saw that right off. You're seeing I'm not disturbing a lot of this ocean water. All of this is gonna be that rich flavor that makes that oyster briny, salty, and savory. We love the ocean water, do not be afraid. So on top of this, I would suggest you go crazy. We've got good company. Oh, and we also have our batched freezer martinis. Are you guys ready? Rico.
I would love a martini.
I can't wait to show you this. This is exactly why we batched, right? I've got guests over, I'm a little pressed for time. Now I get to sit, chill out, relax, and pour up a delicious, wet, Absolut Martini.
Get the teenies, please.
The moment has arrived. Are you checking out this frost, Max? Get in here. This is the coldest this side of Antarctica.
No stirring, no nothing.
No shaking, no stirring.
Just pour it straight into the glass.
Pouring it straight into the glass.
That's a little bit simple.
All right, last but not least, we gotta get some big, juicy, fat olives on top. Do you like olives? I didn't even ask.
I'm a Zest.
Well, that's okay. I'm a Zest and an olive
I'm a
girl.
Zest guy. I like my martinis wet and zesty.
Wet and zesty. Here, you probably don't like a manicure garnish. I know your style. Do you?
She
Stay
knows
raw.
me too well. I'm too rough and rugged.
Oils.
Eager to taste this.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Chin chin.
Chin chin. That is perfect. Balanced, crisp, bright,
Wow.
delicious. As always, I want to see you make this at home. Take a photo of your batched freezer teenies, like and subscribe, and maybe you'll end up on absolutedrinks.com with us. What could go better with this than
A little oyster?
a little oyster? This one looks good. I gotta get that good mignonette. Keep the water, keep the water. To you, babe.
To you.
And to you.
It's good.